Well. Do you know what the most annoying thing about having this splint on is? Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I'll talk about the surgery for a second here, since I'm getting a lot of messages. I appreciate the messages, by the way, the well wishes. Don't get me wrong. It's just annoying because I've done this once already on my other leg, and now I'm going through it again, a little older with more responsibility and less testosterone. So I'm a little bit annoyed. The surgeons, Dr. Darren Dessa and Rick Ogilvie. Rick Ogilvie actually did my knee on the other side years and years ago, and now is like slowly retiring. And Darren and I were talking during the pre-op appointment, and he's like, "Oh, Dr. O did your other knee." I said, "Yeah, a long time ago." I was like, "The guy's a legend. Like everyone I know had surgery by that guy. Went back to playing sports like in 8 months. Everybody." And he goes, "Yeah, he still works with me." He's like, "I might bring him to the surgery." And then the morning of the surgery, when I was like sitting in the chair, got the like aluminum blanket on, they're trying to keep me warm so they can find a vein in my hand for the IV. And he comes in, he goes, "Oh man," he's like, "I brought O with me today." And then so sure enough, I look at the surgery report, and they were both inside my joint a second time, which was good, is a relief. But anyway, the most disappointing thing or hard thing is that because they take bone on either side of the patellar tendon graft, I guess there's an increased risk of fracture. So I was digging through my Instagram a couple of days ago, trying to figure out like the timeline for my first one. I remember the day after my surgery in 2010 was the Sandy Hook shooting. I remember watching the Sandy Hook shooting live from the couch the day after my ACL surgery. I think that was December 11th or December 10th, 2014 or 2010, I should say. Sorry. And, so you go through those pictures, and you can kind of see that after 17 days, I was walking without crutches. So it took about 2.5 weeks to walk without crutches. This time I've been, I don't want to say against the advice of the surgeons, but certainly on the margins with the advice, I've been putting weight on the leg and walking with the crutches on, a little bit without, and trying to put weight on it. It's a lot more difficult. The site of the graft where they pull the tendon from your patellar tendon is a lot more stiff. And I think it's more stiff because there's more damage in there with the bone plugs they took. So that's been frustrating. I have my first physio appointment on Wednesday. I've been doing the at-home stuff, and I'm more than capable of doing all that on my own. But I'm curious to see what the physiotherapist says about what should come next, because in my head, it feels like what should come next is I should pull this splint off, replace it with the ACL, like the athlete's brace, basically, and start rehabbing a touch harder, not redlining, but going a touch harder on the leg. But we'll see what they say. There's so much research on ACLs, Len, but the difference between those first few weeks is huge. In Europe, they don't even put a brace on you, really. They just send you home with the expectation that you will not be working and that you will be moving slowly enough that you won't damage the graft. The graft is pretty good. Like the new ACL is pretty tight right away. So short of like a traumatic, kinetic injury to that site, you're probably not going to tear it, knock on wood.
Well, why do they do that in Europe? Is it because it's shitty healthcare, or is it just because they believe that the patient?
Hard to say.
You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I'll tell you that this time around, I'm in a splint, but not in a cast. The first time, I was in a cast for 3 or 4 days.
But that was because of different thinking of how to approach it, right?
Right.
In a few years. It's not like.
So what's changed over in Europe? Like, I don't know. I'm going to ask the doctor about that when I see him next Monday, and just say, hey, I've been sitting around doing nothing, checking some research out.
The United Kingdom, I saw an interesting stat today. If you take London out of the equation, the UK GDP per capita is below Mississippi.
Wow.
Because London is very, very, so, the NHS.
Isn't Ontario or Canada below Mississippi too?
Canada has dropped. That was reported last year heavily, October-ish, by Pierre Poilievre.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
Is that bad? Is that really bad?
Hey, it depends. I would say for Canada, it doesn't look good. So to go back to what you were talking about, so I'm wondering if it's just because the healthcare system in some countries in Europe are just not very good, and they're strained. They don't have. So you say, you know what? We're not going to put any more resources towards the.
It would seem though that a splint is like a zero cost thing to keep a patient from needing a second surgery, right?
I guess I'm not sure. I never undergone
I'm not sure,
this.
Len. I'm not sure either. I don't want to say that I'm sure, but I'm not sure either.
So
yeah. There we go.
Anything else?
I showered for the first time alone today. Is that too much information? My wife helped me shower a couple of days ago. It was not the kind of
before that was sponge.
Not the kind of couple shower I'm used to. I'll tell you that.
Was it sponge until then or no?
I didn't have a shower until Thursday, maybe last week.
Get the kiddie pool in the backyard, just dunk yourself in that and just do.
It's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. The other thing I said to my wife too is that the first time through, I didn't really need any heavy painkillers. Like they give you oxys and all this other stuff. I didn't really need them though. This time I took oxys 3 nights in a row because the pain was so rough in my knee. Yeah.
And it was it day surgery in and out same day?
In and out. Yeah. I was in at 11:30, home at 4.
And last time you went through this, same deal?
Same thing. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's outpatient surgery. As long as you can manage the nausea, like you'll be okay. I don't remember really the ride home. I was still pretty out of it, but Kenzie's been great. I mean, Kenzie's always great, but I could not imagine doing this without her. It would just be so fucking hard, especially with a little one. And like, she's absolutely killing it, which I actually gave her a nice gift today. That I hope, well, I know she appreciates, but not as much as I appreciate the ability to just, sit around and rehab this thing properly and not worry about
have to trade something
stuff.
For, you see, like online, people that are renting out their places, they're offering not just for receiving money, but also some sort of everything else on top of that. They're looking for females to do some stuff, right? So, right, like you could do that as well. So
maybe
let's make a trade, right? Like I need
you take care of me and
rent here, and
I'll lay the pipe. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. All right. You want to talk about Canada being the Wild West or no?
I think we should talk about an ill-timed tweet from Minister Sean Fraser. Could not have been worse timing for that.
Even like today, like. We could overlook like a lot of things out there, but things we shouldn't is like the unlawful use of firearms that took place in Muskoka, right? The people out there were culturally enriched because they were showed off how the use of weapons in what the OPP describes as a careless and unsafe manner.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, sure.
Well, that's according to Bracebridge OPP, and I quoted that direct. And we shouldn't even overlook the shooting in Hamilton this past weekend, where 80 plus shots were fired, and thugs, 3 of them were hit. And if you ask me, if I was playing Call of Duty, that's a pretty shitty accuracy rating.
You're not going to be a highly ranked COD player going 3 hits on 80 shots. Yeah, it's going to be tough for you. Your skill-based matchmaking is going to have you in a lot of easy lobbies.
What about in Brampton? You saw the image, the video footage of those 2 guys shooting up that guy's house.
How are they? They're shooting like one hand. Okay, like it's Grand Theft Auto. That's not. I've never shot a gun, but I'd imagine that's not.
Joey.
I don't think that's how you shoot. That's not how you shoot, right? Yeah.
And I this is the way I learned it. And granted, it was 2 hands in a gun, fucking stable, and you brace yourself, right? You get ready. The one hand, like that GTA style, like, right, especially if it's a bigger gun, like that thing is just gonna fuck you up.
Yeah.
Anyways, those guys, that was done a few weeks ago, right? But also, let's not even overlook this. Remember that guy that drove on a sidewalk to avoid traffic in Brampton, right?
Which guy? There's videos of that every 3 days coming out of Brampton.
Well, whatever. There's one in particular I'm talking about. I didn't realize there was so many of them, but no, you should talk about like the beautiful things about Canada, the stuff that maybe you can't visit forest in Nova Scotia, for instance, right? Unless because fire respects heritage, right? Because
unless you're native. If you're native,
right,
you can go
you
wherever you
carry
want.
some sort of status card, and fire respects your heritage, so you could go inside there. But no. Anyways. GDP is shrinking too, right? We were talking about this as part of the wild, wild west. And it's enough that we've potentially entered a recession territory, right? And unless they redefine it, of course, but in traditional sense, it looks like we're already there. But, I'm not an economist. What the fuck do I know? We have this trade war going on, right? The wild, wild west, but elbows are no longer up. It looks like they're down. Household savings continue to be eroded. If you look at quarter over quarter, they go down. Wages are stagnant. Productivity is suffering, and then we're peer pressure to buy Canadian, right? You're peer pressure not to drive around, don't use your cars, and at the same time you're watching people jet off to Europe multiple fucking times for summer photo op. And I see this, and you know, yeah, okay, we're not in the Wild West. Sure, if you want to say that, that's fine. And what about the raping and pillaging of something? We're trending towards greatness as a country, right? But now, at best, you could find solitude in leaving urban areas and going to a very remote area and try to live your life like that. That's the best you could do these days in Canada. And it's fucking worse though. Like, the people that made this happen, they ruined it. You know, it's the pandering opposition guy. He's part of it. The guy that was in it for the pension, he's in it. The guy that created division because you can't go to fucking Christmas dinner with your family, but you go to the Caribbean islands. These are the guys that are doing it. Then you got the guy that's flying.
That guy? I forgot about that guy.
Then Ford going to the cottage. Yeah. At the same time, you can't. Then you have this guy going to fucking Europe many times with his buddies. And you know what? This guy hates Bitcoin, by the way, so it's all the more reason why you want to buy it. All you got to say is it is the Wild West, and you got to make plans. And if you don't make plans, you are screwed. But if you make plans, at least you have something prepared for if indeed you have to execute it. Sorry. If you don't have anything, you're fucked. If you have something, at least you have something. Like, there's enough evidence to support that things are going to be trending in the wrong direction for a long time. Yep. Do something about it. If you don't, I can't fucking tell you anymore. GTFO, man. GTFO.
The big thing for me, there's a few of them, but the ones that stick out are pretty unpopular dinner time discussion topics. And so it's a good thing we're not at dinner right now. We can talk about them. There's clearly a gap in IQ between the people coming over from India, Africa, these other countries. Like there's clearly a gap in IQ between these people and Canadians that were here before 2020, 2014, 2015, whatever. They are committing sex crimes. They are harassing women. They are religious zealots. They are protesting Bronze Age conflicts that drag on today, thousands of miles away in streets in our neighborhoods. They're shooting into houses. They are upsetting social orders. They are stealing. They are robbing. They are raping. They are touching. They are yelling at people. They are upsetting subway rides and quiet neighborhoods and dog parks and highways and sidewalks. They are killing families with recklessness. They are not contributing to the economy. And in a lot of ways, Len, they are being entirely carried by the tax money that you and I give to the country. And I'm proud to pay taxes in this country. You know, this is a country that's done a lot of good for me on those taxes. I just wish that there was a better way to get your money's worth besides having catastrophic knee injuries every 13 or 14 years of the taxes you pay. Because certainly I'm not getting it in roads or schools. I'm certainly not getting it in healthcare, doctor availability. I'm certainly not getting it in other infrastructure or new government programs or cultural protections, or, I'm not getting it. If I was a guy who was thinking, why don't the reserves have clean water? Like, I'm not getting it there. I'm certainly not getting it in support for important overseas programs. I'm actually getting the opposite when the money goes overseas. And so the question you have to ask yourself as a Canadian is what should you do? What should your next move be? I think like Len said, if you're able, if you're agile, you should move. You should consider moving. You should be ready to move, I think is the way I would put it. I'm not moving. I don't want to move. I know Len's the same, but I'm ready. I'm ready more and more. Well, you don't want to move yet.
I can't because of commitments, family commitments.
So you know what I'm saying? But you can't move yet. I think I'm in that boat too. But I'm able to if things really go sideways. If you can't move, I would say that you have to start speaking freely about this stuff. And you may notice over the last year, we've kind of opened the floodgates a little bit in terms of pointed commentary about certain demographics on this show. I think those comments are accurate. I think the evidence proves that out. And I think that anyone telling you that, everybody is the same and everybody just wants to be Canadian and everybody just needs a little help and it's horseshit. It's obvious horseshit. You can say that when the population has 1% of people who are like that, but at 8 or 9 or 10%, you clearly see that 8 or 9 or 10% is not cut from the same cloth as you. And there's nothing wrong with not being cut from the same cloth when those people are a million miles away. But when they're sharing grocery stores with you and stealing, when they're robbing liquor stores, when they're punching the elderly, when they're breaking and entering and molesting people, killing fathers, killing family members, shooting 80 shots into a club at 4:00 in the morning. Yeah, that's a problem. The fact that they're not cut from the same cloth is a problem that you have to start talking about. And, we just saw this in Minnesota, another instance in Welland, that there are other factors that go into whether or not somebody is more or less likely to be a shooter, a murderer, an assaulter, a pillager, a raper, a break and enterer, or whatever, car theft, car thiefer, car stealer, whatever the terminology is. You can't ignore these patterns. And I think it's unfair for people who want to see more of this to call you racist, bigoted, anti-trans, anti-gay, anti-whatever, right? Whatever the sort of low-hanging fruit is, the evergreen shield they've leaned on for the better part of a decade now. It's just worthless commentary at this point from people who are not interested in solving the problem. And the problem is getting worse. We'll talk a bit about, immigration in a second, I think, but we're letting in a lot of people, that don't understand what it means to be a Canadian and don't have the capacity to make the jump from third world, train rider to GDP contributor. They just don't. And I don't care about the cost of labor staying down. I don't care that the boomers need this injection to keep their home prices high. I don't care. There's no cost that's worth, or no benefit, I should say, that's worth destroying the culture. And we're getting close now. Like, people in Toronto, they got to be feeling the heat. You got killings there all the time. That's a liberal stronghold. You can go out to places like St. Catharines, Welland, Brampton, Burlington, Oakville. You're starting to see it more and more. Of course I saw. Yeah, the break and enter guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy doesn't think
born with a schlong and
doesn't think he's the gender that he was born as. There's and
then for people unaware, he went there, broken and
molested a 4-year-old,
choked and molested. It was a 5-year-old. Not that it makes a big difference. Anything. The 4-year-old was in Vaughan, by the way. I'm not sure if you heard about that one, but and apparently the child needed medical assistance.
Of course.
Choking, right. And when you do that to somebody that's 5, they mentally, for the rest of their life, they're screwed up. They're not going to look at people the same. Like, come on. And the one in Vaughan was a 4-year-old that watched their father. This guy
shot him twice in the chest. Yeah.
And killed him. And
there's no penalty harsh enough for that, right? And I do appreciate that now you're starting to see papers name judges who are letting these guys go. But it's not enough. You're at the point where you have to bring back guillotines in the town square, public hangings, public execute. You're there now, I think. And you could say, Joey, that's harsh. It's too chaotic. It's too Bronze Age. This isn't, a movie where everything gets better when you start killing people in public. I kind of think it is, actually. I kind of think it is. I kind of think that if you're serious about guns being illegal, that people who have guns illegally should be killed. I'm kind of the opinion that if you don't want people raping kids, then people who rape kids should be killed. I'm kind of the opinion that if you don't want people breaking into houses and killing fathers who try and defend their family, then you should kill people that you catch doing that stuff. You should kill them. You should stream it. You should run it in a theater. You should do whatever. But you have to hang on a sec. You have to make an example of these people. Because if you don't, inevitably, your quiet neighborhood will become less than quiet. It's happening everywhere. I went to school in St. Catharines. No one even knows how to get to Welland. Okay? No one even knows how to get there. And there's guys there breaking into houses and molesting children. You can't keep ignoring the things in front of you in the name of your politics. You have no God except your own safety.
This happened 30 years ago too. Remember Chrétien got his house broken into?
Yeah.
Right? And people are saying, what doesn't happen to politicians? Our fucking prime minister had his house broken into.
They don't allow protesting in front of politicians' houses now, right? When people protest in front of Anita Anand's house after she closes her office, the Twitter literati get on there and they go, oh, this this should be the untouchable rail here. You can't go to a politician's personal residence. Why the fuck not? The criminals fucking kick the door down at ours. Why can't I hold a sign in front of yours? That's the obvious answer. And I am expecting 100% that police forces in Ontario from these major Ontario cities will band together at some point soon, because one of their members will be killed. One of their family members will be killed. One of their politicians will be killed. A community leader will be killed, blah, blah, blah. And I see Mark in the chat. Mark and Len and I were talking about this thing that happened in Lindsay a couple of weeks ago. This guy who killed the home invader or defended himself with too much force or whatever. Like, there is no such thing as too much force when someone is in your house with a crossbow. Like the only threshold is too little force. Like, is the guy dead or is he still a threat? That's the answer. Because as we talked about before, okay, the idea that you can just call the police and they show up is no longer a reality, especially out there. So
100%.
So when you have a guy in your house, so when you have a guy in your house with a crossbow and you reach for a kitchen knife and swing a few times and connect, you have better dexterity than he does. It's not like the guy brought out a rifle and shot the guy point blank in the head when he was unconscious. He stabbed him a few times. The guy had a crossbow. He broke into your house. You have a family. What is the level of threat that guy represents? The level of threat is danger to your life. As soon as someone breaches my front door, okay,
100%,
I'm killing them. I'm killing 100%. Them.
Now, this is wonderful. The rant is good. The anger is good. The passion is fantastic. But what happens moving forward? That's the question. Now,
people in the chat saying, it doesn't end well. Mark saying incentives have to change.
The question I have is it salvageable? If the answer is yes,
I don't know.
And you don't know, I think I do.
You think it's not?
Of course. And so all this, and it does bring out a response. It's passionate. It's all this. But if I don't think it's going to be changed, and you're 50-50 as you could salvage this, then the energy has got to be focused on something else.
Yeah.
And what is it?
It's focused on getting back
whatever
to
you think is best.
So it's focused on getting back to a 3-wheel squat before December. That's where my focus is.
It's good focus.
No, but in all seriousness,
like that, there's more to it, right?
What is the rationale for people who still don't have a weapon in their house or aren't taking care of themselves physically? Like, you have to be able to overpower one of these people if they come into your home, right?
But they could come with force. They could come with weapons.
They could.
With multiple.
And so you gotta have a weapon too. You have to.
So all you're doing is then they're presenting a problem, and you're trying to combat that problem, which can never be solved.
And the amazing thing is that the police are so quick to release these guys. Multiple offenses, as Mark pointed out.
Why?
This fella. I just don't know. I don't know, and that's the thing that really bothers me. What is there's no sensible rationale to release a guy who's a multi-time home invader, armed intruder, multi-time child molester, multi-time sexual harasser, there's no rationale,
judge, right?
Yeah.
Is that the way it works? After you do it, crime, depending on the severity of crime, you're brought before the judge, and then they would then make a decision. Okay, you could go out. Is that how it works? I've never gone to jail. I don't know.
It is how it works. And Berners in the chat saying it's liberal bail policy. We're not a liberal government in Ontario. Law enforcement is a provincial jurisdiction issue, so it's not a liberal policy. It's something else.
But the appointment of judges,
what is it?
And federal judges.
I don't know. The federal judges don't deal with home invaders. It's not a federal crime. It's a provincial jurisdiction. That's the frustrating thing. And people who hate Doug Ford, friends of mine will say, oh, it's because Doug Ford hasn't funded jails. The jails are full. We can't hold people. Like, then tie the guy up with duct tape and roll him into a broom closet until you're ready to deal with them. Like, we can't keep living by the problem is you have these rules where the rules only work in societies that are based around majority order. And you no longer have enough order to run a society where, okay, jails are full. We have to let this guy go, but he'll come back for his hearing. Not only is he not going to come back, he's going to reoffend, and it's going to be worse and worse. Like, these people, like I said earlier,
what it is? Somebody gets a cold.
Yeah. What?
Somebody gets a cold, and the reason why they get a cold is because their immune system is compromised somehow. Either they're fucking working outside in the cold all the time. It's not because they've interacted with somebody that's sick. Like the reason why it's just because the environment they're in. If you take them out of that and put them in an environment that's healthy, they're going to remain healthy. But you put them in an environment that's not healthy, you could give them all kinds of cold medication to block it. It's a remedy at that. Like you're just giving them something to feel better. You got to get to the fucking source of it. But what's the source? We know what the source is. Now, is this going to be fixed over 1, 5, 10, 50, 100 years? I don't know. Actually, I do know. So like I understand like the anger is fine and everything, but honestly, urban environments are done. Like just staying, like if you want to,
you can't live in an urban core. No, you can't.
No,
no.
And so now you're forced to be put in an area where you may not want to go there. Maybe you did want to go there, but you lost an opportunity, you lost a choice, you lost something that you could have done because somebody made decisions and it sucks. And now we're going to be, you go to the exhibition. Remember those lines, how many people were lined up over there for fucking jobs, right? Like,
yeah.
And
it's a miracle, by the way, there wasn't a murder over that 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. And just, I look at that.
I'm just, yeah. You know what? I don't want.
And it's when the economy doesn't do well, people look at other ways of making money.
I disagree with this. And I said this about Ukrainians coming over here, and I'll say it again. Like, if you're a loser where you came from, you're going to be a loser where you land. It has nothing to do with the economy. The soil's not magic, like I always say.
Oh, 100%.
And people, by the way, like calling me a racist. I'm not you're an idiot, okay? I have tons of black friends, tons of Indian friends, tons of Chinese friends. I got friends from all stripes, all colors, all creeds, but they're Canadians. Some of them have been Canadians for 5 years. Some of them have been Canadians for 50 years, but they're Canadians. Okay. I retweeted a video last week of an Indian guy, truck driver, talking about the sort of lack of governance in licensing with trucks. Like that guy, yeah, his name is probably Gurpreet Singh or something. Okay. But you can tell that guy is a good Canadian boy by the way he fucking wields a dart and the way he talks about what's going on in Canada. That's a Canadian. Okay. When that guy says he wants to have a few drinks, he says, I'm going to have 4 beer. He doesn't say I'm going to have a few beers. He says, I'm going to do 4 beer today. That guy is a Canadian, man. It doesn't matter what color his skin is. I'm not worried about that guy. I'm not worried about that guy on a subway with a bunch of women coming home from a concert who are exposing skin. I'm not worried about that guy walking past the daycare every day when those kids are unattended. I'm not worried about that. But I am worried about the guys who come here from places that glorify rape, glorify child abuse, glorify human trafficking. There wasn't human trafficking warnings at the fucking en routes on the 401 10 years ago. What changed? At some point, you have to say the unpopular thing, and it's that immigrants are causing problems. It's just not debatable anymore.
We used to have a system that was points-based system.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if we still have that anymore. But that points-based system, it was able to vet people that would come here as permanent residents.
Yeah.
And you have to meet a certain standard. So you get points for education, you get points for language, you get points for, gosh, I forget what it was. But like essentially like it assessed your ability to come here and to become a productive member of society.
Yeah.
And it was basically the likelihood of you becoming and not being a burden of, but just being in addition to society, the economy, and so forth. I'm not sure if we do that anymore. If we do that point system,
the point system has changed quite a bit. It's changed quite a bit,
and that's too bad. And before we used to let in like something like every year of permanent residence. This is not all of those from the point system. It was somewhere from sponsoring spouses. It was like $250,000 to 400 million.
So 400 million. No.
Sorry, 250,000 to 400,000. That's what used to bring in permanent residents every year. And it's easier for the society to absorb that many people coming in because schools, they're not.
I actually no longer even buy this argument. I don't buy it anymore. Okay. Yeah, I don't buy it anymore. I think the people coming here are just. I think the people coming here are dumb. They're losers, and they're more likely to have low impulse control, problems with the way they think about family, problems with the way they think about little kids. They come from places where kids are getting trafficked. Like you can't. It doesn't matter if 1,000 rapist weirdos come in or 10,000 rapist weirdos come in because they're always going to be rapist weirdos. Like
100%. That's not my argument. That's not my point.
It sounds like you're saying if you import less people, then they have a chance to assimilate.
With the points system being in place, with having that vetting system of vetting people to come in under a certain criteria and then limiting those numbers, you can't have that point system and bring in 20 million people.
Yeah.
Even though like they meet the points, the system can't handle that. And you can't have that point system and over a long enough period of time, bring in zero people in the country, because the country over time will just disintegrate because you're not producing enough people here.
I actually don't buy that argument either, but yeah, go ahead.
So then let's play this out. Hypothetically, close the borders. It stays at zero.
Yeah.
Is that feasible for 50 years, 100 years?
The population goes down for a bit, but it'll rebound. It'll rebound because other things will balance out. Like urban sprawl will balance out. Cost of living will balance out. Wages will balance out. If suddenly you can't pay an Indian guy $36 an hour, like shout out to Michelle Rempel-Garner, who has just recently realized that the LMIA maps online from the Reddit crowd are so easy to use. And it's easy to see what businesses are hiring people and what they're paying. Like people in Burlington, I think, paying mechanics $36 an hour and they got to go LMIA. No, that's a lie. And the reason it's a lie is because they don't want to pay the wage. So they get the government to subsidize the wage. They bring in an Indian. The guy doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's foreign trained, whatever. Like
those are the wrong people to bring in.
I know, but I'm saying you got to bring in
value.
You got to bring in nobody for a while. You got to bring in nobody for a while, and you got to let wages catch up.
Okay, for a little. I'm with you, but you don't do it forever. So what Canada has always been built on from the beginning. My parents came here. You have in your background people like
for sure. My grandparents are immigrants. Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
and a lot of people, if you go back, the majority of people are like that. And so that's the way Canada was built, and it worked. And it worked because people came here, they contributed, and it just fucking worked.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you have to try to get towards, to strive to get to that system again.
I hate to say it, Len. I hate to say it. I gotta interrupt you. I hate to say it, but like the Italian, German, Polish, Ukrainian immigrants from the 50s are they're better quality people than what we're letting in now. That's all there is to it. Like those are better quality people. And
20 years ago,
they're better quality people too. Yeah, they're better quality people than too.
And you know, 20 years ago, the majority of people coming to Canada were from India.
Yeah, for sure they were. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, so I believe that.
Then it's not where they come from. It's the type of individuals you're driving.
I say India because they're the most predominant, sort of immigrant class now. But no, I mean, everyone knows that Indians from 15 years ago who came here, like they're legitimately engineers, doctors. The anesthesiologist who came out to see me at my surgery, I could barely understand a word he said. He was Indian. Barely understood a word he said. My surgeon, Darren Desa, Indian guy. Okay, look him up. Yeah, like I don't have a problem with these people are very competent if they came from a certain class of immigration, right? A certain what would you call it? I don't know. Like an era of immigration. Yeah, of course these people are bright. I mean, you and me went to school in Southern Ontario. How many black guys, Indian guys, Chinese guys did you grow up with? A bunch.
And university, I just have to say,
same thing.
Dominated by Asian students.
Yeah, like it's not fair to call people who say that immigration is a problem because we're letting the dumbest people in from the worst part of the world. It's not fair to call me a racist. It's not fair. And I think a lot of people are realizing this, and that defense mechanism from the left is falling flat, and they know that. And by the way, do you know how they know it's falling flat? If you look at what's going on in the UK, for example, and what will happen here about this, online harms act nonsense. We got to patrol what people say to protect people from harmful speech and whatnot. It's going to be about poor policy, guys. It's going to be about poor policy. They don't want you talking about how it's obvious what's going on because they don't want you to notice or talk about it. They'd rather you just shut the fuck up, let the wages stay down, keep pumping real estate prices, keep letting businesses hire cheap labor. Just do your fucking job. You're a util. You're a util, not a man, not a woman.
It's a raping and pillaging. So what it is, it's too much was borrowed on the past of what was been built, and that's now depleted. There's nothing in the bank left, and now it's what's left to do. Let's borrow from the future to maintain. That's too bad, and it ruins this fucking system. So, and not only are you just making things generally worse, but you're absolutely fucking torpedoing the economy.
UK.
Yeah,
go ahead. Yeah.
No, just say what you're saying.
I just want to. There's a stat that I saw today from a college in, I think, I gotta see where. Anderson College. No, it's not Anderson College. It is called college? No. It's here. Canadore College. I don't know where it is. It is right next to an Indian restaurant. Canadore College. Find out where that is.
Is it Canada double D door?
No, Canadore, like DORE. Canadore College. And Canadore College, which shares a wall with an Indian restaurant, where is it?
That's in North Bay.
Okay, has graduated. You know how many people they've graduated over the last like 4 years?
I can't even have, because this number I'm looking at is going to skew my number.
Guess what number?
15,000.
45,000 people they've graduated.
Okay. Now, before you go any further, I just want to say something. According to this is probably, I don't know if this is right, but the first thing that shows up, the students right now that are enrolled in that school is 2,500 students, 25 full-time.
It's a room. It's a room next to an Indian restaurant. Like, they're not even trying to hide it. And so when the government's like, yeah, no, we want to get immigration under control. Like, fuck you do, man. Look around.
No, according to this, it's actually a campus. Like, there's more. It's a sprawling campus.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. How many more campuses do you think they got?
Well, I'm going to assume just the one in North Bay. I don't see anything else.
So, like,
I'm looking at it from an aerial point of view. Like, there's a number of buildings. 25.
Yeah, one of them is an Indian restaurant. Like, whatever. I don't want to talk about this for too much longer because I've already said enough things that are going to show up in an HR meeting one day. But it's just obvious there's a problem. And I'm so sick of anyone who disagrees with you. And by the way, they're never as well informed. They never have the data. They've never looked at the TER tier program in Canada. They've never looked at the point system. They've never looked at the immigration versus created jobs since 2020. They've never looked at any of it. They don't understand that immigration is not the same as bringing in high grade talent for tech jobs, right? They don't understand that every LMIA is not a tech job that no Canadian could do. They don't understand that because they haven't looked, and it interferes with their political biases. I'm so sick of those people telling me I'm a racist or a xenophobe. Fuck you. Fuck you. Your entire life, even though you don't admit it, is starting to be based around how far away you can get from these people. You know, I said to Mark and you the other day, you're entering into a point now where there's no more third spaces. Third spaces are critical for like social development for kids. Third spaces is basically where else do you go to hang out and be social with your peers besides your home and your school? You need a third place. Well, if all those third places are dangerous or overrun with people who don't speak your language, have no interest in learning it, they don't share your culture, they're running over your culture, the problems will persist if you don't start speaking honestly about it. And I want people to start speaking honestly about it. I expect them to do it. But unfortunately,
I left them, man. Hey, I know where you're going. I know where you're going, and I'm with you, man. 100%. It's just, energy's got to be
shit.
Spent.
It's shit.
Yeah, 100%. Energy's got to be spent the right way because you don't have an infinite amount of energy. Yeah. And as long as you spend it properly to ensure that you have the brightest future for yourself and your family, that's what really counts. So,
yeah.
You want to talk about LMIAs?
Fuck, of course. Why not? Let's keep going down this road here. My armpits are fucking sweating after that last segment. Let's keep going. Why not?
Well, I'm just be very brief about this because apparently that they were supposed to be capped at 82,000 for the year 2025. Reports indicate that 105,000 people under LMIAs have already entered, and that was done by the midway point of 2025. So if you prorate that, that's going to be 210,000 people coming this year. And yeah, and all this points to is the lines, as I mentioned, like the X lines, for instance, that's going to be even longer next year because you're going to have more people. Not youth unemployment is like what, 17%, something like that.
It's fucking high, man.
It's very high because the competition is very high. And yeah, I have nothing else to say about this.
Well, let's not say anything. Let's let Michelle Rempel-Garner do the talking. Today, British Columbia, 49,000 unemployed youth. Baskin-Robbins posts a job for a temporary foreign worker, $35 an hour. By the way, this $35, $36 an hour is a magic number to get the funding for these positions from the government, just so you know. You'll notice that it's a common theme here. Let's keep moving. Where's her next LMIA? Here we go. Kingston unemployment rate, 6.8%. Ontario youth unemployment, 16%. Canadian Tire in Kingston wants to fill a job with a temporary foreign worker for $42.78 an hour, and the Liberals are going to let them. Follow for more daily updates. Very interesting. Alberta companies ordered to repay almost 165,000 temporary foreign workers. Go figure.
Just claim.
Let's keep going.
Let's
keep going. Ontario youth unemployment 16%, almost 200,000 unemployed. But a Subway in Brampton wants to fill a job with a temporary foreign worker at $36.10 an hour. Any guesses on what the manager at that Subway's last name is? I will promise you it's not Teague or Carter. That's for sure. Let's keep going. We can keep moving here through the LMIA posts. Let's see. Michelle, where's your next post? Michelle, right here. Edmonton unemployment, Alberta youth unemployment, 20%. Edmonton youth unemployment or overall unemployment about 8%. Edo Japan hiring a temporary foreign worker for $36 an hour, while the Globe and Mail posts the summer funk isn't over yet for young jobless Canadians. Wonder why. Very interesting stuff. Here's another one. Vancouver unemployment, 7.1%. BC youth unemployment up at 12. But a place called Fatburger hiring a temporary foreign worker for $34.65 an hour. I could go on forever, but I'll just summarize with fuck you. Go on lmamap.com or lmamap.io, whatever it is. I'm going to try and find the address right now. And ignore, boycott, post in your local Facebook group about all these businesses. They all have to pay a price, socially and financially. All of them. And I want you to do that because if you don't, it'll continue. The practice will continue. They don't want communities don't want to see foreign workers serving burgers. Communities don't want to see foreign workers mixing coffees. Communities don't want to see foreign workers waiting tables. They want to see kids from their neighborhood, their neighbors, their friends, people who go to their church, people that go to their gym, people their kids play sports with, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they want to see. And rightfully so. Those jobs are for local kids, not for a guy from India to come over and steal a job under the guise of we couldn't find anybody. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Joey, the banks are also complicit in a way too. I'm not sure if you saw this, but like I'll use the RBC Bank for example here. They're offering newcomers to Canada some special conditions for when they hire. So RBC, for example, they have a special offer for new Canadians. Get up to 12% cash back for the first 3 months if you sign up for an RBC MasterCard. And you also could get up to 15,000 credit card with a no monthly fee banking for a year. Do you have a month bank account?
Of course I do. It's like $30.
So yeah, so there's lots of advantages. If you're an international student, they have the $0 monthly fee bank account for international students. It's a great way to start banking with RBC. And
can I see the institution list there? Is there an institution list for that?
RBC would be it.
No. How are they defining international student? What school do you have to be enrolled at? It sure shit isn't McMaster, Waterloo, or Western. You know,
they even
it's Canada College next to Modern India Buffet in fucking North Bay.
Check this one out. So they offer even mortgages for newcomers. They say at RBC, mortgage options are available for newcomers with little to no Canadian employment or credit history, including some specialty programs with no minimum income required. So I'm looking at this.
Tell me again how they're not juicing the real estate market. Tell me again. Are we fucking serious here? Why are those people not in jail? Guillotines? Okay. Hangings?
I love this.
Bring them back. What are we waiting for?
So I just want to repeat.
What else is going to teach them the lesson?
I just want to repeat. You don't have to.
By the way, their loan loss provisions, all the big banks' loan loss provisions, rising all the time. They're ready for a wipeout, but they just keep giving cheap credit to people who are undeserving. Like what? Why?
Yep, there we go. So that's it for the newcomers. And it's not just them. Check the other banks out. They might have. So if you're a newcomer, that's maybe one way you could really just milk the system, so to speak.
Fuck.
Get one for
it gets me so riled up.
$12,000.
It really does get me riled up.
Go to the next one, get another $12K, and go to the next one. Just fucking rack it up and go home and call it a day. Socialize those losses, man.
Oh my
god. All right, it's 1:30 in. It's been a while. We have more to talk about, but I think it's just.
Let's do one more. Why not?
Let's do that. Well, let's talk about the Hamilton versus Brampton man story.
Brought to you by 256 Heat, where you can heat your home and get paid to do it
Are you running a heater over behind you?
I'm running it
I
right
can't
now.
hear
Yeah,
it.
it's running right now.
Wow,
It never,
it's quiet.
much to my wife's chagrin, it never stops running.
I can't hear. That's an awfully quiet unit you have.
It
there,
is.
so you
It's
have
hot in
the same
here.
room.
It's hot in here. I'll tell you that. The window's open, but it's a little too warm. That's why I take my sweatshirt off.
It's still technically summer.
Hey, you know what? It's cheap power today, so I got it running hot, so it's loud, but you guys obviously can't hear it. And I would say that's a good sign. Yeah. So talk to Twan. A couple of you guys or one of you guys already bought one or is looking at buying one, which is great. But it's going to be cold in the winter. And for me in my basement, like this is going to be perfect. I'm not going to have to run my HVAC super hot to heat this basement, which is really nice. And in the fall, once I'm really back on my feet truly, and I build a gym in my garage, I'm going to get another one from Twan, and I'm going to heat the garage with a couple of S19s. You ought to too. So go there, tell them we sent you. We don't have a code or anything. Tell them we sent you if you don't mind, and get one. I don't know, $2,000 is really nothing. Like, a new cell phone's $2,000, and they don't pay.
How much is the new cell phone that you got? Is it
$2,000?
Roughly
$2,000.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought my wife one too. My wife's got a Pro 10 Pixel 10 Pro. That was about $1,400, I think.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So we got two stories here. We have the Hamilton versus the Brampton man. And for people out there, you could play at home. You could take a guess as to which story is which. And Joey, you've been pretty good lately at figuring out.
I don't think I've missed yet. I might be like 4 for 4 or something, 3 for 3.
Let's see if you could continue with this streak. So first story we have is a large quantity of porn was stolen during a break-in, and Xbox games, tools, hats, and other things were also nabbed. Ontario Provincial Police, they were looking for a large stash of porn that was stolen from a house. Investigators say they got a call from the theft around 2:25 in the morning, and they say that an unknown person or group of people broke in and stole a large quantity of pornographic material, Xbox games, hats, and more. And it said this constable was saying the first time in his career that he's ever seen a large quantity of pornographic material reported stolen. And the police couldn't immediately say what medium they were talking about, whether it was magazines, DVDs, or whatever, but it was stolen nonetheless. And they say that the material has now been possibly sold. So if somebody's in possession of a large quantity of pornographic material that they didn't possess in the past, we encourage them to contact the police. Any information?
Can I just ask, like, what is? I had my house broken into when I was in grade 7, I think, grade 6 or 7, and I remember, it was pretty traumatic. I couldn't sleep for weeks, and one of the things I remember is we had to index for the police what was stolen for their purposes. Obviously, they're going to check fences and stuff, and then also for insurance, so the insurance company knows what the value of the stolen goods was. For us, it was like jewelry. They took our N64 and some other shit. Like, I was a kid. I didn't have a lot of stuff, and my parents were living pretty tightly at that time. How would you tell the police what pornos were stolen? It would be like, yeah, listen, I lost also some digital media or some physical media. Okay, sir, what did you lose? Oil spills, volume 1 through 4. Debbie does Dallas, Debbie does New Orleans, Debbie does Detroit, Debbie does Washington, Debbie does Texas. Those are gone. Also, horny co-eds 1 through 9 were stolen as well. Like, how do you tell the police that? Do you tell them the names, or you just say, I lost physical media totaling $1,000 in value? I don't know.
It looks like in this case, this guy itemized it, so he knew what was in his
pervert, true pervert.
He fucking knew it, and the police were dumbfounded. So like
autistic perverts unite.
So you have that. We have the stolen porn.
Okay.
From the first story. The second story, we have 2 men were charged in a prolific $300,000 LCBO theft ring.
Ooh.
And police charged 2 men in connection with a series of organized retail thefts. They were targeting LCBO locations across the region, estimated total of $300,000 in losses. They say this particular theft ring primarily targeted LCBO locations within the area, and most locations were targeted numerous times. Imagine that. Police noted that the actual number of LCBO locations that were targeted is unknown due to the high volume of theft by these two, and they laid a total of 35 charges against these 2 individuals. And on top of that, after arresting them and everything, both parties were already out on bail on similar charges, on this investigation. So these guys were already out there.
That's a giveaway. We got a giveaway there.
So we have now the Hamilton and Brampton stories. Which one is which? We have the pornos versus the LCBO. Which is which?
Give me porno in Hamilton, liquor store in Brampton.
Yes, you are good. You are good,
yeah.
man.
Hell yeah. How old are those stories?
The Brampton one was recent.
Okay.
I could tell you exactly when.
When you said the guy was out on a repeat offense, obvious he's probably
June 2025 was
okay.
And the two people in charge are Anuj Kumar, 25 years old.
I fucking nailed it.
And Sumar Preet Singh, 29 years old.
Fucking nailed it.
And the other one was from Hamilton, was from a few years ago. So
the media thing is great. That's a great find by you. I actually think I might start cutting these up and putting them on YouTube separately, like Hamilton Man or Brampton Man. I think it's a good, good engagement for me.
We'll be able to attract a whole load of people.
Yeah, it'll be a different audience, I think. People will be looking for my address.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this segment of the Hamilton versus Brampton Man, brought to you by 256heat.com. Eat your home.
Eat your home and get paid for it.
Yeah, but don't steal no pornos. Leave them at the fucking pervert's house.
Let's get out of here. Len might be back Wednesday with somebody. I don't know who. Maybe not. And if not, then maybe we'll be back next Wednesday with somebody, and maybe not there too. I don't know. We're both very busy, so just bear with us. Eventually we'll have a guest on a Wednesday and you can enjoy the show. But until then, take care of yourselves, guys.
And don't steal any porno.